Three gray hulls at 28 knots slice north. Bright white wakes, half-moon arc. The lead ship aims across the Ford's flank. You clicked for that moment. You're in the right place. We're breaking down the minute-by-minute intercept, how Gravely took point, how a Seahawk at 600 feet painted every bearing change, and why CPA under 6 nautical miles became the only number that mattered. Venezuela wanted a headline. The carrier group needed deterrence without a spark. What would you do when the crossing angle tightens and the radio says, maintain safe separation? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. 3 fast hulls carve north in a half-moon arc, because shape sets the story before engines do. That curve isn't random. It frames the battle space, steals angles, and makes the bigger ship look boxed without a touch. The water line is the argument. Venezuela treats this patch as a security zone tied to coast and politics. The US treats it as high seas with transit rights. So the first shots are words. Radios trade firm, rehearsed phrases in 2 languages. Tone flat. Timing exact. Each hail is a flag on the water, and each reply is a line held. The lead patrol craft glides toward the carrier's future track, aimed not at steel but at choice.
What the U.S. officials are saying is that no, that actually was on international waters. And so you can see a lot of the discrepancies here, Ike. Those facts matter, and we'll see where it goes from here, but there's no doubt that the tension overall is rising. You know, the Venezuelan government says that that happened within its economic exclusion zone, in other words, essentially on its territory on the ocean.
Now, the Trump administration says the people on board were drug traffickers and members of that Tren de Aragua gang, but they haven't provided any further details.
Keep course and trust the shield. Yield and feed the narrative. Turn hard and risk a headline you don't want. That is the math of inches long before metal meets. Formation is message. A half-moon from the south fills the lens and loads doubt. It reads like a squeeze yet stays legal by hairlines, enough to crowd, vague enough to argue later. The move is theater with charts. Gray zone playbooks chase optics. Close for video. Loud on socials. Quiet on weapons. It's a political raid dressed as a patrol, built to trend faster than any after-action draft. Meanwhile, the Ford idles flight ops. Deck quiet. Lift still. Not a stall, a choice. You free bandwidth for ship handling, comms, and deconfliction. You tell your own crew, we have room to think. At 28 knots, thinking time bleeds. Closing speed chews minutes into seconds. Safe maneuver plans compress, and the helm feels that squeeze first. Radios keep the legal mantra on loop. The patrols tweak 1 or 2 degrees. On a collision plot, those tiny shifts swing fate. Bearings creep. CPA ticks down. So the facts that matter land fast, approach near 28 knots, half-moon arc across the carrier's projected path, built to intimidate and to film for a home feed. The camera hunts a star. It finds a shield stepping out of column, gray and ready to turn a storyline into a standoff. One number rules the next 5 minutes, CPA under 6 nautical miles. When it drops, options shrink. Your helm, your law, your nerve.
Well, how are tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela rising right now?
One way that they're rising, Ike, is that the Venezuelan government is conducting these large-scale militia trainings. They've called up civilians to join the reservists. There are still questions, of course, as I was mentioning, right, about the legality of it and also just the specifics. Where exactly was the boat going? Who exactly was on it? It is important to distinguish, though, is they have designated several cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And so that's some of what they are saying in order to, not further escalate this as an attack.
USS Gravely takes the front seat. Intercept posture. Bow pointed down the lead vector, weapons tight, cameras rolling, logs clean. The carrier holds course behind a wall of steel. Overhead, a Seahawk at 600 feet feeds the nerve center. Infrared and daylight video flow straight into CIC, fused with surface radar and bearings from the bridge wings. Every degree of change redraws the risk line on a live plot. You can feel the room breathe with each update. CPA is the knife edge. It's the point where two paths kiss if no one flinches, derived from speed, bearing, and the time you still have to turn. Change any one, and the minimum distance shifts. Leave all three, and the math closes on you. Destroyers shield carriers for this exact squeeze. They absorb the approach, widen reaction space, and let the big deck keep its plan. That is how you keep freedom of action without lighting the fuse. Gravely slides to within roughly 2,000 yards off the threat axis. Not a block, a barrier. A moving wall that signals consequence without contact. The helm holds intercept geometry, engineering holds the power margin, the bridge holds the line.
Now, Venezuela is accusing the U.S. Navy of boarding a fishing boat in Venezuelan waters. A statement from the Foreign Ministry says 18 people carrying long-range weapons boarded a tuna fishing boat and occupied it for 8 hours.
Tension is rising in that region as the U.S. bolsters the Caribbean with military. There were 5 F-35 fighter jets that arrived over the weekend.
Now, the official also says the incident happened in international waters and did not last 8 hours. A U.S. official says the crew of the Navy ship received information about the Venezuelan boat carrying drugs, but didn't find any drugs during the search.
The escalation is documented. Time-stamped video. Radar tracks. Bilingual hails archived word for word. Lawfare proof before warfare proof, so the record survives the spin. The Venezuelan lead bumps starboard, angling to cross the flank. The crossing angle tightens. But the destroyer refuses the chase instinct. It stays on the intercept, denying the lane and keeping the carrier clear. The near-contact moment steadies. CPA stabilizes under the 6-mile mark. No bump. No panic. The patrol ships ease south, wake lines soft, and the order cracks over the net, old course, do not pursue. The wakes fade into the chop. The cameras still roll. Deterrence by presence beats provocation by spectacle, and the sea goes back to work. Hold steady beats flashy. In gray zone sea fights, the winning shot is a straight wake, a clean log, and a wall of steel placed with care. Presence answers provocation. Proof beats spin. What would you have done with CPA dropping fast, turn early, hold the line, or crowd the threat? Comment your choice below. If you want more tight, tactical breakdowns with real decision points and the why behind them, subscribe. Deterrence today lives in 3 things: presence, patience, and proof. We'll watch for the next push, the next camera run, the next test of nerve at sea. Subscribe and join us for it.